It's coming out of the breather tube?
Just here, yeah. I've seen some drips there.
We got everything going on right away this morning. We got the neighbor full of beans and he's out of here. We got the FBN seed beans in here that we're gonna load into a truck. Jim's out here ready to start tillage. And the 9560 peed on the cement pad. But the fun part is that we get to start back on corn today. Loaded, starting, busy. Forgot my coffee over here. Time to hook up the header trailer, head out to the neighbor's field where the combine's sitting, blow the chaff off the header, set it on the trailer, stick it in the shed. We are done with this one. Fired up one last time here, run some of this stuff through the head. I think the draper belts are slipping. That's as fast as they wanted to go. We get that on tape? Tape. VHS tape. Zach forgot to unhook the wires for the wind system. Good save by Nate. Hopefully that's the last morning that we have to get ourselves covered in itchy soybean dust. That dust is no fun to have going down the back of your neck all day long. And speaking of that prairie wind system that we put on there, guys, I'm sold. Yeah, they worked with me on a partnership deal, but that thing's awesome. Our soybean headers will probably always have a wind system on them from now on. The first few mornings I questioned it a little bit, so I actually unhooked the drive shaft for it and ran without it for a few acres. And then I wasn't questioning it anymore. It makes a huge difference in certain conditions. You get it set just right, and you can almost run without the reel at all. It's crazy. We won't go without one anymore. We're sold on it. Just another dark and gloomy morning. Hopefully the sun comes out. It has the last few days. Dinosaur bones. Or as someone else pointed out in the comments, it's actually more dinosaur muscle. Who knew? I did not fact check that at all, so no follow-up questions, please. Straighten it out more! Straighten it harder! Keep coming! Another foot! Time to switch the 9870 over to harvest corn with it. That's definitely one thing I'm gonna miss about the 780, because that one took, close to an entire minute to switch it over from soybeans to corn. This one's gonna take me at least half hour. Still not bad, but I could use that extra 29 minutes to harvest something. Plus I'm a millennial, so working for a half an hour straight. Feeder house drum height up to make it easier on the corn, using a lever just like this, one on each side. Chopping knives out, cob deflector in the corn position. Set the chopper belt back to the turtle mode. Todd, yeah, why don't let's go ahead and do that 40 units of the 92 day, and then can I just get a few units of the 91 and a few of the 99 as well? Yeah, I'll finance it with you. Yep, I'll go on there. Thanks. Got my FBN corn seed ordered for next year. And the final thing to change out here is the accelerator speed. Basically, we just pull this belt over and set it to turtle. And as long as I've got a bunch of shields off, we're gonna hit the grease zerks. Here's one for you guys. Are they grease fittings, grease zerks, or grease nipples? Let me know down below, and don't forget to smash that like button. Morning, Digi. Where's Anna at this morning? Where you been? Hey, there you are. Come here. Come here. What are you doing? Did you find someone to eat? Yeah. That does it for the outside. Now, it's time to change a few things in here. Concaves wider. We're gonna start there. Sieves wider. We're gonna start there. Chaffer slightly wider. Next ones we gotta fire up for. Threshing speed way down. I might have to shift that. See if we can even get that low. I bet I'm gonna have to shift. Yeah, that one's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna come over here and crank the fan up. Gonna just put the rotor in low gear. And I just remembered I may as well dump the rock trap as long as I'm down here. Try it again. There we go. We decided, since we're still a little bit short on help here this morning, for going to corn, because corn takes a lot more labor because of the amount of bushels and the volume that you're running, so you got to have truckers. We're gonna take an hour here and switch a feeder house sprocket, slow it down some to be easier on this really high moisture corn that we've got, and also put some spacers in the threshing gates around the rotor to open them up a little bit, to do the same thing, just to be easier on this high moisture corn, because high moisture corn likes to grind up into cereal, and then you get docked at the elevator and it doesn't keep good in the grain bins, and you can run into all kinds of problems. So this is about as good a morning as any to do that. So we're gonna make the modifications because we know we've got wet corn. Yeah, it sure would be nice if they'd have given me enough room to get an impact in here. All I did here was drop these spacers down into these grates to move these grates farther away from the rotor so that it's not so aggressive on the high moisture corn. All switched. Let's do this. And that one still sits there. Maybe I need to call them, let them know their gigantic tractor is still here. There we go. Sometimes it seems to take about as much time to change the computers over as it does to do anything else. Okay, for real this time. Here we go. Some twisted up stuff here. Not as bad as the fields we were in before, at least in this area, but still a little bit broke over. Ooh, I like that moisture compared to what we've had. We'll see if that maintains. Looks pretty good back there. So far the machine is saying I've got an average of 22%. I haven't gone far. I don't know if I believe it or not. Oh, dang. Holy cow, I believe it. Wow. Check the job that it's doing, because we actually have not had this machine on corn yet this year. We did everything with the 780 before. Oh, I got a little coming out the back. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments. There's some on the ground in the middle for sure.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's
dry?
Yes, an average of 22.5 right now so far, just in this little stretch.
I grabbed this here and
it's I reached in the tank and it's rattling, it's dry. We've got just a little bit on the ground. It isn't too bad, so I think I'll open the sieves up a number or two, maybe slow the fan down just a hair, but it's really clean in the tank, so I don't want to mess it up too much. And the ground isn't too bad, it's just a few kernels right down the middle. That right there is the combine that we were preparing for this harvest until it quit raining. Look at the yield, man. Almost 2,600 bushels to the acre average. We're gonna have to build more bins. Unfortunately, with the downed corn, this is what we end up with a lot. The corn starts getting piled up in there and then it pushes it over instead of harvesting it like this. And can't really do anything with it from in there. If someone has a good solution for that, help me out here, because I think we could be dealing with that most of the year. Well, the moisture's better, but it fell down a lot worse. Oh boy. This will be the 4th time I've had to get out and do this in 1.6 acres. Randy, how much you say that corn header reel cost? I'm guessing all these acres here are gonna have to be harvested going one direction. We're gonna have to pick up and drive to the south and combine them only heading north. At least it dried down a bunch. That wasn't me. You're the only one to ever do that. I was just giving him a hard time. That happens on an average 2 to 3 times a year. And this is a small pile. I caught it pretty quickly. We went ahead and dumped the hopper and we tipped these snouts, these front snouts, down a little bit more. There's a pin right underneath them that you can pull and drop those snouts down a couple inches. Hopefully that'll help me to be able to pick up some of this corn and get it to slide up the snout rather than going underneath, because I don't have the hydraulically adjustable forward and aft control on the feeder house like the 780 had. if my thinking is correct, I'll be able to run the head a little bit higher now too, which will help put my stock stompers where I want them, because they were running pretty hard against the ground, and we don't want them real hard. We just want them to kind of bounce along the ground, but they're doing a good job so far. Unfortunately, in this area, the corn is so bad that we're gonna have to stand and dump because I can't even stay on the row. A lot of this.
Doing okay now, or you want to switch off?
You know what? I'm just gonna have to talk to you guys later. Did you bring me lunch? Did you bring me lunch? You don't want to talk? Thank you for lunch. I get to switch jobs for a bit here. Dad wanted to run the machine out there, and I had no problem letting him do that. It's a little bit stressful trying to pick up that down corn.
What do you think we should do, Zach? Do you think we should pull out of here and get that other head?
You can see he's picking up and driving to the south and only harvesting to the north, which unfortunately is what I figured we'd end up doing. Let's take a look at what kind of job this is doing. It's kind of a nightmare, to be honest with you guys, but man, thankfully the corn is drier. You can see we're not getting it all picked up though. Some of those ears are going underneath the header and just getting chopped up by the blades. It's doing okay, but you can see clearly there's areas where it doesn't get it picked up. And then what happens a lot is it gets pulled under and the chopping blades hit it and it shatters and it ends up looking like harvest loss when it's actually coming from underneath the header. The way insurance on this is going to work is that our private wind and hail insurance policy is going to come out and take a look at this, and they're going to assess how much they believe we were not able to pick up. And then we've got a 5% policy on that. So if it's 5% or under, there's no coverage on anything. If it's between 5 and 30%, we'll get coverage on what the average yield at a insurance determined price would be. But that's a private insurance. That is not a federal crop insurance, so it's not, there's no subsidy involved at all. That's a private insurance that we buy every year. And we pay a lot of money for it to protect ourselves in case of situations like this. No different than paying your homeowner's insurance or your vehicle insurance. Hello. So it's 2% wetter?
Probably, yeah.
We switched varieties. He's in a different corn hybrid right now. It's standing a little bit better, but apparently it's a little bit wetter. So, give and take, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't getting a reading there either, and I tried calibrating them and hoping that it would come up, and it never did. Holy cow. End rows, opening fields, never works to dump on the go. Down corn, you name it. Well, according to Jim, this thing will float right through this. Look at that. What a mess. Do you guys think this is standing any better than the other stuff?
Since I turned the corner, like the old hay ground we used, about 2/10 been the lowest on the yield monitor. It's just like a whole different space.
So, it's every bit as dry. It's yielding 50 bushels more, and this is how it's standing. Same company, different hybrid. Unbelievable. 5 to 4 if you want. I'd be willing to take over for you in the combine again.
22.5 to 24, mostly in the 23s, so pretty good, really.
Not bad, especially considering it's standing so much better and yielding better.
Yeah, unbelievable difference in yield.
You think it's just the hybrid, or you think it's planting date?
I think planting date and conditions. We put that other in mud, but it just doesn't look good because the 194 wasn't very good back there either. But then the 201 was and the 80 wasn't it?
Well, the 201 on the 80 was standing much better than anything else and yielding quite a bit better.
Yeah, and this is 201 I think too, isn't it?
This whole, the old hay ground and this whole 55 here is all 201. It was stuff I planted really early.
Yeah, I remember that. It was last day of April or so. Boy, it's too bad we couldn't have gotten more planted then.
That's when everybody thought I was crazy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of years like that when people go early and they think they're crazy and it ends up being the best thing.
Earlier this spring when we were cold and wet and the ground was really cold and nobody had started planting yet, but we had a few acres that I felt like where they were ready to go, but the soil was cold. People told me I was crazy and I was in too big of a hurry and I shouldn't look at planting date or the calendar date. I should just wait until the soil's warm enough. This is the stuff I planted then. So far, it is by far our best yielding corn, and it looks great. On the flip side of things, Randy is 40 to 60 miles west of this field. His soil responds completely differently. If he puts his seed in the cold, wet dirt, he doesn't get anything to germinate, and he replants in that stuff every year. What it is, I don't know. We talk about it all the time, but their dirt won't do it. This dirt does. I don't think it'll be an issue. Nah, not a problem. What? God, I'm a little fuller than I wanted to. Bye, Alan. Now, it's very uncomfortable backing up on a township road when you can't see anything. That's why this ag cam is so darn handy. We think we're gonna bring the trucks in the field. It's gonna be the softest down there, but they'll sit on this hill nice. I don't think it'll be a problem. Here comes the Johnson Farms convoy. And all of a sudden it got awfully dark out and I'm getting rainy ice pellety type of things on the windshield. Well, I'm going for it anyway. Apparently it's raining a little more than I can tell out there from this angle because the corn, I can see it's wet and it's really getting wet on the snouts here. I'm guessing we're about done. It's snowing back there?
Yeah.
But Lauren is still going. We gotta go. We can't quit. We can't quit. It's not raining enough or snowing enough yet. He's still going. Neighbor's going. Gotta go. Yep. Now it's raining and snowing. Wow, look at the pretty white fluffy snowflakes. I am so excited for 2020. You can't make this stuff up. I can't get the camera to focus, but trust me, guys, I can see about as much as the camera can. Sure. It's done snowing now.
So the corn is tipped over out here just enough. And there's places that are just muddy enough. I don't know if you can see that real well. But the corn that's laying in the mud, when it gets picked up, it slaps mud on my window. That's so annoying. I gotta keep cleaning my dang window. Ah, perfect. It's starting to rain. I was getting worried. It was getting a little dry out here.